Today's episode, I'm going to be covering everything under the sun about this breast explant journey. And let me tell you, the entire experience is pretty wild. So for those of you who are new here, hi, welcome. I'm Danna Gift. This is a space for faith, personal growth, and endless self-expression. So if you are ready to step into your confidence, deepen your spiritual walk, and embrace a life of passion and purpose, welcome. Hit the subscribe button and let's do this together. This journey, wow. When I tell you, I feel like I unlocked a whole different level of obedience with God when it came to this. I mean, I really unlocked a whole new level of obedience. So the reason why I decided to get an explant in the first place, or even why it got planted into my mind, was something that feels very surreal now that I think about it. I had been experiencing some symptoms of health where I felt like I was always tired. I was not getting a lot of sleep. I mean, I typically wake up very early, like abnormally early, like 3 a.m. But I was starting to wake up even earlier than that, around midnight, and I wouldn't be able to fall asleep. So there was just small things that started to happen in my own health that I was more so trying to figure out why I felt sick. Lo and behold, I had no idea that this had anything to do with my implants. I was just kind of naive. I was just thinking it was probably something in my sinuses, or maybe it's because of my deviated symptom. I was having a lot of trouble breathing. There was a lot of symptoms that I felt. And not once in my mind did it occur to me that this could be my breast implants. Just so you have some context of when I got my implants done, I got my first pair of boobies, saline implants, back in 2012. And so I was 20 years old, and about 2 years ago in 2023, I actually got them redone, so not that long ago, from saline to silicone implants. And I felt fine most of the years. I mean, I probably had some underlying health things that weren't very prominent. And so it wasn't like I was experiencing anything really horrible. I came across my friend's video. She does natural holistic health, helping repair hormones, all of that jazz. And I saw this video about how she explanted, and she covered just a small portion of what could happen if you have breast implant illness, BII. Now, if you look up BII, you'll see that a lot of people, it's especially with the doctors, they say that it's not really a sickness that can be proved. And because it cannot be proved, it is not covered by insurance. And even if you go to different breast augmentation doctors out there, they might even say that breast implant illness isn't a real thing. Some doctors believe it, some don't. But because there's no definitive studies that show that those illnesses is a direct impact from the breast implants, they say that it's not real. Now, I can go into an entire rant about how the health system works and how they will find anything to not have to pay for a surgery that is absolutely necessary. But basically, they mark it as a cosmetic surgery, and so it's not covered. And so I look at this video, and I recognize that there are some symptoms that are very familiar to me, and even some that were brought to my attention that I'm like, wait a second, I actually am experiencing all of this. And so I went into a small research dive and found that there was a lot of other women who have experienced these symptoms before. And because it's not really widely talked about, nor do they warn you about any types of breast implant illness, it's kind of muted. You don't see it unless you're looking for it. It's funny because I've had the idea of breast implant illness and that breast implants could cause a lot of sicknesses a while ago, but I didn't pay it any mind. And I would even say that before I got my breast implants redone about 2 years ago, I even had a small seed planted then, but I just wasn't ready mentally at all. Like, I was not secured in my body. I also didn't think that it was something that serious to consider. And so I remember sitting with my Bible and praying and asking God, saying, God, I feel like you are guiding me to getting my breast implants removed, but I want to make sure that this is actually what you want, that this is actually something that I need to do. Because Dylan and I were preparing to have a family and start a family is our goal. And part of what I was considering as far as health goes for my future child is I don't know if I necessarily wanted to keep my breast implants in while I'm breastfeeding. And there's like a lot of other things that I would consider since I want to start a family. And so I asked God, I said, God, can you please make it abundantly clear that if I'm supposed to remove my breast implants, you let me know. You make it abundantly clear. And I'm emphasizing abundantly clear because the way he blessed me was by making it abundantly clear in symptoms. So I feel like ever since I made that prayer, God kind of, man, he went in. He started to really show to me. I feel like my body became sensitized. Like you can argue and say that this is a placebo effect of making the decision to get the breast implants in the first place, but I didn't even decide that I was going to get a breast explant at all yet. I was just asking God to make it clear. And I was more so referring to make it clear in the Bible. And in the Bible, it basically said that there was enemies all around me that I need to prune. I can't remember. I wish I had written this down to reflect on it, but I didn't. But basically, I remember it saying that the enemy is near, but that God's got me, that I must continue to walk forward in faith and take the action that he's calling me to. And I felt that God was saying, it's time to get those puppies out. And so he made it more clear what he was trying to say when the symptoms became pretty bad. Now, let me explain to you what the symptoms are of breast implant illness. So if you are considering getting breast implants, I want you to finish this video and then obviously make your own educated decision on what you think is going to be right for you. But I want you to listen to this whole thing because there truly is some things that I feel like the doctors don't necessarily mention before you get a breast augmentation or any of these additional surgeries to modify ourselves. I've only done breast implants was the most like work that I've done. I've gotten a little Botox in my forehead like 2 times in the last well, it's been years now since I've done that. So, but I'm very natural now. Well, now I am for sure. So some of the symptoms that I experienced during this time period where God made it very clear that I needed to get the breast implants removed. I had difficulty breathing. I had difficulty staying asleep. I had this feeling like I was constantly dehydrated. It didn't matter how many drinks I drank. It didn't matter how much water I was consuming. I felt like I felt with my hair, I started to experience more hair loss. My scalp was consistently dry. I was experiencing a ton of brain fog. I mean, I really felt like I struggled to maintain a stream of thoughts. I couldn't consciously communicate because my brain, the minute I started thinking about something, the thought would be lost and brain fog would occur. And I felt like in, I was just in the mix. I felt like I wasn't thinking straight. My energy levels were completely low. I felt extremely fatigued all throughout the day. Throughout the day, my energy levels would be good. And then I dip to severely low levels to the point where I'm like, this is just not normal. I remember Dylan taking me out on our date night and I got all ready and I was excited. And when we were out, it was like almost like a switch happened where I felt like I was so tired that we ended up having to end the date night early because I was having these migraines, really bad migraines. And I also felt like there was just a constant pressure in my ears. And it's crazy because if I actually was watching back some of the videos that I posted in my more recent vlogs, and you can see that there's this habit I was doing. It was this because I was, oh, excuse me, I made me yawn. Because I was constantly popping my ears. I felt like there was this pressure in my ears and in my head that I could never get rid of. So those are just a couple of the symptoms. I think there was more. I'm sure there was more, but those are the worst ones that can come off the top of my mind. It just became very abundantly clear as I've asked. And so I started on the journey. I'm like, okay, God has told me to do this. And it's crazy because I started on this journey thinking, it might take me a couple months. It might take me like 3 months before I can afford it, before I can set up the doctor's appointments. And the first person that I ended up going to the doctor, he was great. He would have been great, I'm sure, but price-wise, he was significantly more expensive than any of the other doctors. The cost of his surgery was roughly around like 12K. And that's not including all of the like surgery fees and additional fees, whatever. So I was just thinking to myself, my goodness, I cannot do 12K. Like 12K is a lot. And Dylan and I just started getting to a place where our income was a little bit more consistent. And so I kept searching and ended up calling a couple more places and found myself in Facebook groups, which, by the way, if you are looking for a doctor in your area, I highly, highly consider looking up Facebook groups to find the doctor that is most recommended. And so I found this Facebook group. They ended up redirecting me or referring to me, this doctor, Dr. Pierce, and he just had good reviews across the board. Maybe there was a few people who like, we've heard some bad things, but like obviously you're gonna get that a couple times. But he is a doctor that it has experience with it because his wife actually had breast implant illness. And so he has a why that made sense to me, right? The nurse, her name is Sarah. She's super amazing. Honestly, the entire staff, his wife is great. Like I met his wife. They were just amazing. When I first called, Sarah was so warm and welcoming and so helpful. She gave me so much information, more than I even asked for, about the background behind Dr. Pierce and how his wife had BII. And I'm not going to go into the entire story, but basically, they did not perform the correct breast explant surgery, and now is what he specializes in. And so I just felt like that was, I don't know, it felt good. Felt like a good connection. It's crazy because I booked with this doctor. You do have to put a minimum deposit down. Some of them are roughly around, it's like 100 to 200 kind of range. This was $100 deposit for the consult. But originally, this doctor, Dr. Pierce, was actually on vacation for over a month. Like he wasn't gonna, I started making these calls in January. He wasn't gonna be back home until the end of February. And so that was when I was gonna be able to have my first consult. And so I'm like, okay, that kind of sucks because I really don't want to wait. Like I feel like I need to move on this now, but I guess it's smart because I don't have the money to do it. Like I mentioned earlier, this is not something that is covered under insurance, which I think is absolute bullshit. Anyways, he originally was not supposed to be back home until the end of February. And it's crazy because as I started to book these appointments, suddenly he's going to be able to do a consult a little bit sooner because he came home sooner from vacation. And suddenly we are booking my pre-op and my surgery. And like all of this just happened so stinking quickly, way sooner than I thought. And originally my surgery date was supposed to be February 19th, but he had an opening for February 12th. And so we ended up doing the pre-op February 11th, doing the surgery February 12th. It was just like it just caught on like wildfire how quickly I was able to get seen and done. I truly, truly just want to spend a moment thanking God for his hand on all of this, making it very clear, providing, because I did not know how we were going to make the bills plus this $10,000 surgery, but he made it possible. He brought me to it, so I knew he was gonna bring me through it. The how was very unclear, but it began to unravel as time went on, and I all I had to do was trust, and that's exactly what I did, and I ended up getting the surgery way sooner than I expected. So, probably within a month of the decision, I got my breast implants removed. Crazy, crazy. Now, I wanna talk a little bit about the concerns with getting the explant. My main concerns was aesthetics. Like, am I going to like my OG body that I was born with? I hadn't seen my boobs, my original boobs, since I was 20. And when I was 20, my body was not as developed as it is now. To this day, my body is continuing to change. My hips are widening. I'm just like presenting a more feminine physique. Whereas before, I was very, very square and I did not have enough boobs to create a feminine figure. And I felt because internally, my mind, I was very masculine. I felt very masculine on the outside. And so I was not concerned. I'll say intrigued, interested, curious. Curious is a good word. I was curious about what I would look like back to my original state. Another thing that I was concerned with was the symptoms. Like, what if they didn't disappear after I got the surgery? What if I did all of this for nothing? What if I spent the $10,000, realized I didn't like my original body, and then also I'm still sick? That was a big concern. And of course, the money. The money, because I did have to pay everything out of pocket. We were just starting to get into a place of savings and security, and I did end up spending basically all of our savings on this surgery. But I really, really want to encourage you that your health truly is all that matters in this world. And I really opened up my eyes to this. I started to really realize how strongly these symptoms were actually occurring within my body. And I remember having moments where I was breaking down and crying because I just couldn't figure out my emotions. I just felt all over the place. My hormones were all out of whack. My body was fighting to preserve my body. And so that's why my body is fatigued, right? Like, it's fighting off this foreign object constantly. And so that's why I was always tired. And so me realizing this and seeing my body not the healthiest as it's always been, because I take really, really good care of myself, the fact that I couldn't naturally heal myself was very taxing and weighing on my mental state, on my body. And I felt very frustrated with myself. I dealt with feeling upset that I didn't love my body sooner, upset that I had just gotten my breast implants redone, upset that I got silicone instead of saline, knowing that saline worked for me. Like, even to this day, I still wonder, I'm like, would saline, if I had just replaced the saline with saline, would I have been okay? But even at the end of the day, I'm still 100% happy with making this decision. So all of this is to say that I have absolutely no regrets whatsoever removing my breast implants. I am so dang happy that I did this. All of the concerns in the world were valid concerns, but I'm looking at my body now and I'm like, I got a little bit of boobs. Like, no, they're not as big as they used to be, but honestly, who cares? Like, I am so much happier being healthy, and your health truly is your wealth. And it's not worth it to me to look a certain way if it meant that I was going to feel crappy. So I just decided and made it like not my focus. I did not focus on any of the negatives whatsoever. I focused on nothing but the positives. I said, you know what? My health is the most important thing, and I will cross the bridge of aesthetics when I get there. I'm not going to wrap my head around the idea that maybe this wasn't going to look good. I wasn't going to go down that rabbit hole. Instead, I chose to focus on the positives and say my health is going to be my main focus, and that's all I care about. And so, the concerns were fleeting thoughts, right? Like, I definitely felt them, and I definitely had moments where I broke down throughout the process, like waiting for the surgery date. But overall, I'm very, very happy with what I did. Let's go over pricing and booking and what that whole process was like. Things you want to consider is what your surgeon's baseline price is. Now, my surgeon's price was $6,000 plus you're looking at the surgery center fees, that was $2,700, and anesthesia fees, which was $1,200. So overall, I spent $9,900. So $10K was the total out-of-pocket expenses that I did for this. There was nothing else that I bought outside of it that I could think of. Nope. As I mentioned earlier, you do put a deposit, but that goes into the surgery if you end up booking with them. And I did not get a lift or anything else. I simply got a total capsulectomy. Now, when you are searching for your doctor, I will highly, highly suggest make sure that they are board certified. This is exactly what Sarah told me. You also want to make sure that they are doing a total capsulectomy. So I will show you a picture here and explain what a capsule is. So a capsule is actually like a thin layer of protective tissue that forms around your implant. So whether it's saline or silicone, your body creates this tissue to form around it, almost creating somewhat of a house around the implant itself so that it doesn't touch the rest of your body. Our bodies are amazing. It learns how to protect itself. And so what you need to get is the total capsulectomy, meaning to say that they're going to remove not just the implant from the tissue, from the capsule. You want them to remove the entire capsule. Now, some people are saying to get an M block, but M block, the only difference is that M block, they do the entire capsule and the implant all in one, but sometimes is not possible if the tissue is too thin because it can tear easily, or if it spreads into your ribs or into your armpit, which is what happened with me. So you want to make sure that you get the total capsulectomy and someone who knows what they're doing when it comes to removing the rest of the capsule that grows into other areas of your body. My capsule was thin, but it did grow into my armpits and it did grow into my ribs, which makes sense why I was having difficulty breathing. Makes sense why I would have random muscle spasms in my arms and shoulders, even when I didn't work out. Insane. And so you want to make sure you find a doctor who knows how to do the total capsulectomy. And then you also want to find a doctor that I didn't even know that I needed to find one of these, but a doctor who does muscle repair when he removes the implants. I spoke to Dr. Pierce, and what he used to not do muscle repair, but after doing enough of these, he realized that repairing the muscle helps to lift the breast back up, and you can actually get your muscles to start activating the way that they used to. And so it just creates a better baseline for your breast to rest on. And it also, like, now that the muscle is repaired in my with my breast, that means I can work out a bit and fluff them up. So I'm kind of excited about that. So you want to find a doctor who knows total capsulectomy and who will repair your muscle after breast explant removal.
These two lines means that's the capsule of the implant and it's intact.
Okay.
If those two lines weren't there, see, they can see them really nice there, like railroad tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to worry about a rupture.
I also want to mention that most doctors do not suggest getting a lift right off the bat along with it. I mean, obviously your breasts are your breasts and you know better when it comes to aesthetics of it. But the reason why he says not to get a breast lift the same time that you're getting a breast explant is because your boobs kind of have to settle in a little bit. And while they're healing, they may move around, the nipples may move around, like you don't know what it's going to look like when it's healed up. And so he suggested to not get a lift and allow myself to do the breast explant first. And later on down the line, if I feel like if it's off or something, then I could get a lift. But I don't think I'm going to need one. Thank God. Thank God. If you feel like you might have a good baseline to work with, or even just like waiting a little bit before you get the lift, like the recovery is going to be significantly different and a lot lighter if you don't get the lift off right off the bat. I feel like my recovery has been amazing. Surgery day was really exciting, honestly, knowing that I feel like it was just the beginning of the journey. I didn't feel nervous or scared, except there was a moment when I was laying with my IV in right before they were about to take me in that I started to get a little nervous and could feel myself wanting to cry. I was just nervous about going under. Something about anesthesia kind of scares me. I think it's just like not being conscious and like wondering what happens when I'm like unconscious like that. But I just started to have these moments of nervousness, but I did bring my book with me, and it helped to distract me from the IV in my arm, and it helped me to distract from, like, what I'm about to do, and yeah, that was very helpful. Surgery, like, the actual surgery itself, you are so knocked out. The minute that they put that anesthesia in you, like, they put you up to an IV, you wait for a little bit, and you meet all the doctors. You meet the doctor, you meet the anesthesiologist, you meet the nurse who's gonna help you. They go over all the protocols. You have to agree of what you're doing, confirm what you're doing, like, the standard protocol to ensure that you are the right person. They're doing the surgery, you agreed to the surgery, yada. And then when they start taking you back and they pour in that anesthesia, like, you're out. You are out. Um, it's funny because the anesthesiologist, you just know he knows what he's doing when he's like, right about now, as we turn this corner, you should start feeling the anesthesia, and within minutes, you will be out. I'm like, wow, that literally started hitting me exactly when you said it would. And so I was just, I go into the surgery room, they're pushing me on this bed, they put up the sidebar handles, and I go for a little ride into the surgery room. I'm looking around the surgery room, and within seconds, I was gone, gone. I remember just looking at the room like, oh, okay, so this is where they're gonna have me, and out. I was gone. Then I woke up and I was getting moved into a uh,
Here, let me get the door
wheelchair,
here.
and they're pushing me down the steps, and my husband's there. Dylan's there to greet me, helping me get into the car, and I'm just
I got this.
out of my mind. Out of my mind. I'm like, wow, I'm like, this is it. This is done. We're done. And I'm looking, I'm like, we're done.
Hi. How you doing? Can I kiss you?
Yeah. I don't feel too bad. I don't feel much pain. I'm just out of it.
Yeah. That's expected.
Yeah, wow. This is done. It's done.
Did they tell you how it went?
Yeah, good. We finished a little early.
Yeah, you did. I was in the middle of filming still.
Were you?
Yeah, you called. Luckily,
You
I saw
can
it.
keep filming because I'm gonna knock out. I can already tell.
Oh, I'm not gonna disturb you. I'm done filming. It's okay. I can film later.
If you need to, I'll
Baby,
just put
I
it.
appreciate it, but it's okay. Okay. Yeah, he told me that it went great, but he told me a few things as far as like it being super stuck to your ribs, how far up your capsules were into your armpits.
Ooh, really?
Yeah. So a lot of it was obstructing your breathing.
That makes sense.
So yeah, he's like, she'll definitely feel a difference.
There you go.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course, Tracy.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
We're done. And so, yeah, it was honestly not a bad experience. I didn't feel any pains or anything. I obviously was on a lot of drugs. Anesthesia was still just wearing off. And so, yeah, it was smooth. I think I was already back and walking the next day. I took my normal 30-minute walk I usually do with Dylan. We did take it a lot slower. It wasn't too bad. The only things I will say about recovery that was annoying was the drains. You do have these drains attached to the area where you got surgery. This is to help with the fluid buildup to make sure that you're not retaining any of that fluid, that it's cycling out. And so these drains basically suck out all the extra fluids and help you drain where the implants used to be. So that was annoying. I did have to keep that in for a week. They did get itchy, a little uncomfortable every once in a while. I really didn't like draining them and like doing the whole process. That was a pain in the butt. 6 days really isn't that long. They try to make it as comfortable as possible. Wasn't too bad. Once I got that removed, it was like a happy day for me. I was starting to feel pretty good. I didn't have to take any of the oxycodone. Instead, I just took Tylenol. I only took Tylenol the second and third day. That was easy. And then I mostly used THC during my healing process. It just helped me to calm down. It helped me to not think about the healing of it all too much. THC was like my best friend. I was probably high for like 6 or 7 days straight. I would do it. I wouldn't smoke, no smoking. I took it through a little vial of THC is what I was drinking, and some gummies every once in a while. So that was that. I slept a lot. You're not supposed to be raising your heart rate, so don't even bother. It was very, very useful to have Dylan as help. So if you are planning on getting this done, I highly, highly recommend that you utilize your community, you utilize your friends, make sure you're asking them for help. Um, it was so beautiful to have my friends come over and bring me meals and food, and they would come and share some lunch with me. It was great because I know that Dylan is also working and trying to take care of me. And although he didn't do the greatest job at keeping the house clean, he kept it clean enough where I wasn't like losing my mind. So so I highly, highly recommend having your friends around. Another annoying thing is having to sleep at an elevated position. I spend most of my time elevated, at least at a 90-degree angle, sleeping like that. Highly, highly suggest if you don't already have a pregnancy pillow, get a pregnancy pillow. That thing saved me some comfort because it kept me snug during my sleep time, and it kept my arms in a good position where I wasn't straining the muscle. I just popped open my little shirt here. I took a nap too, but oh, where'd they go? Yeah. Like, see, they're a little lumpy dump.
Yeah.
Right there. And they'll fluff out. I truly believe they're gonna fluff out a little bit when we get pregnant. Like,
Yeah.
they'll grow. I could eat my food off of this. It's a table.
Babe.
It's okay. I love it. I love it. I'm excited to see what they look like when they're all done. Highly, highly recommend getting a laxative because the anesthesia is still wearing off in your body. And my goodness, do you stay bloated for days? I stayed bloated for like the entire week and then some. I'm just now starting to get more regularity with the way my body is metabolizing things, but it definitely get a laxative, a good laxative, because I needed to poop. And it was difficult. Also, make sure you get a lot of hydration packets. Element is a really, really good one. Whatever electrolytes you can get, hydrate. The better you hydrate, the better you're going to heal. And so I just made sure I was staying hydrated. Speaking of, I need to drink. But yeah, during my healing, I really didn't do anything except I read a lot of books, or I read one book. I'm like really stuck on Fourth Wing right now in the Imperium series, and it's so good, so good. I'm obsessed. I played puzzles. I just chilled. I probably started working again day 5, but nothing crazy, just stuff at the computer. I wasn't filming or anything. And today is actually the last day that I have to wear a sports bra. And afterwards, they did suggest after a week of getting the drains removed, I can start using the scar cream and also be braless. So the more braless that I am, the more my boobs will be able to fluff out. So no sports bras, no tight shirts. Like, I'm just going to be free as a bird, and I'm going to let my little girls fluff out. So I'm excited to see. And by the way, I just want to show you guys, like, you can't really, this is weird that I'm having you like look at my boobs, but you know, this is for education purposes. But look at it. Like, these are them not fluffed out. These are them in a sports bra. Got a little bit more boobs than I thought. Like, why did I even get breast implants in the first place? I really, really question my decisions. Maybe I didn't have as much breast tissue when I first got them done because I was only 20 years old. I'm 33 now. So maybe because I definitely gained some extra weight and stuff, but like, I got boobs. They're small, they're itty bitty, but definitely insecure at 20. I felt like I needed them at the time. Aside from that, honestly, like overall, how I feel today, how I have been feeling, Energy levels are returning. I am breathing so much better. I can take deeper breaths. I feel more energetic all throughout the day. My brain fog is gone. I feel like I can think very clearly. I can stay focused a lot longer. My scalp is returning back to a more hydrated state. I feel like I can now start taking multivitamins to grow my hair out once again. I feel good. I feel good in my skin. My boobs are starting to look a lot better. I was nervous about them the first day. Like Dylan had to help me shower the first time that I re-exposed myself to my original boobies, and I was like, I hope you still love me because they were a bit bruised. They were just sad. They looked a little deflated and stuff, but like overall, I'm like, okay, I have hope though. I think they're gonna look good. That's it. I am feeling great. I feel like more of the symptoms, the alleviated symptoms are going to expose themselves the more that my body returns to its original state. So I still cannot submerge myself for another 4 weeks. No workouts with my chest area for another 6 weeks. So I'm just going to be taking it easy. I'm going to be cleaning up my diet. I need to get very clear on that since I'm not going to be able to work out. I am going to be walking a lot more, and I'm going to do like Stairmasters with no chest activation. So I am going to be able to activate or raise my heart rate a little bit after tomorrow, I think. I'm just going to confirm just to make sure because I want to make sure I'm not over exerting myself because I have a tendency to do that. But overall energy levels feel great. I feel great. I look at myself in the mirror and I'm proud. I'm proud of me. I'm proud to see my original body. I'm proud to see what I look like. And I'm just excited because I do plan on getting pregnant, hopefully sometime this year. And obviously your boobs grow when you have children, and I'm just excited. I feel hopeful about my body. I feel proud, confident, excited to see. I just feel like me. It's a different level of confidence and self-acceptance that I feel in my heart and in my soul. And when I look at myself, I'm just proud of every step that I took to listen to what God wants for me to move forward with such obedience just so quickly. And there was no hesitation. There was absolutely 100% trust in God and what he wanted from me. It's just a beautiful, beautiful experience. I'm just so grateful for everything. And I feel excited to test my body the way that it naturally was when I first had it. I'm excited to push it at the gym. I'm excited to see if I could play golf a little bit better. I'm excited to just see what life is like without having this additional thing that I implanted on myself. And so I don't know. I'm just hopeful. I'm just happy, so proud, so excited. I love my body. I just feel good. I feel good. If you are considering getting breast implants, I just really want you to think twice about it. Instead, I would say if you're feeling like you want to get breast implants, I want to question yourself. Why? Why are you feeling that? What about breast implants is it that you want from it? Because if you're looking to feel more feminine, if you feel like it's going to help you gain more confidence, I guarantee that you're probably looking at people who don't make you feel good. So you're comparing yourself to people who need to block out all the noise. Maybe you need to cut out those sources that are causing you to make you feel like you need to compare yourself, that make you feel less than. Maybe you need to work on some mindset shifts about your confidence. Maybe you need to do something that challenges you in a way that you are proud of your growth because that will help build your confidence. There's so many different things that come with altering your body, but at the baseline of it all, there is a deep-seated insecurity that is within you, causing you to think that you need to adjust yourself to fit the culture, to fit some idea of who you should look like. But at the end of the day, we are born so freaking perfect. We are born so perfectly made in God's eye, and we are just beautiful the way that we are. I don't know why we have it so stuck in our head thinking that we have to look like everybody else to be beautiful and accepted, when I truly believe that beauty is unique to each person. I actually really dislike when everybody looks like a copy of everybody. Everybody's got their lips done. Everybody's got the high cheekbones. Everybody's got the cat eyes. Like, what, like, if you were trying to look like everyone else, to me, that's not the beauty that God made us in. All of us are so unique. And so I don't know. I get it. I get it. Trust me, I get it. The standard of beauty is always ever changing. But one thing that will never change if you do the work is the way you look at yourself, is the way you love yourself and your confidence. If you could build that up, you will not need to feel like you have to transform yourself, to butcher your body, to cut into your body to make yourself look like something else. And so that's just my take on it. We are a surgery happy culture where surgery is just so widely accepted and almost glorified for everyone to look like a copy of a copy of a copy. You yourself, the way that you were born, the way that you were created is so beautiful and uniquely you. And I just really want you to learn to embrace that. And I wish that I did before I got my surgery, before I redid my surgery 2 years ago. I wish I had the way that I looked at myself today back then, because I wouldn't have gotten that surgery done. And it's not even about the money thing. Like, money comes and goes. I really don't care that I spent extra money to get this whole thing done. Like, it's the principle of it all, right? Like, you don't have to alter yourself to make yourself beautiful. You are beautiful the way that you are. And it really is just a mindset shift. So if you are feeling like you're comparing yourself to people and you're not feeling confident in your own skin, stop looking at the people you're comparing yourself to. Literally block them. I block friends. I used to block this one girl in particular who, we were friends, but the way I felt because of how she presented herself online, I actually just couldn't bear it, because it made me feel insecure. And not to say that there was anything wrong with her, it was me. I knew that I was triggered when I would go to her page and see the type of content she was posting. And it felt like, because she was getting more followers, I felt like I needed to compare myself, and I felt like I needed to do more. And so getting more risque with my photos, like, I just felt bad inside. I was comparing myself hardcore. And so, not that I stopped being friends with her, but I just blocked her. And it was no offense to her or who she was. It had everything to do with the way that I felt. And I just blocked her. And that actually helped cut off a lot of the negative comparing feelings I felt when I would scroll online. If you're following pages that make you feel insecure, that make you compare yourself to them, block them. If you feel like you're feeling insecure about something else, dive into your mind and ask why you feel that way. Ask yourself questions. What is this insecurity coming from? Is it a cultural thing? Are you giving in to the cultural zeitgeist of the world? Are you giving it energy, right? Like, there are so many different things that we could do to help ourselves love ourselves more, which maybe I'll get into another video of that, because it is obviously already a long video. I just want you to feel beautiful in your skin. I just want you to accept you for you, because I wish that I had accepted me for me before I did surgery. That just, it rhymed and I thought it sounded cool. So that is the story from front to end. I'm feeling great today. I'm already back to work. I'm already getting back into the swing of things. I feel good. I love my body. I'm looking at my boobs. I'm excited to see them fluff out over the next couple of months. The doctor did say it takes about 6 months to a year for it to get its full fluffiness back. So I'm just gonna see what happens as time goes, and I'm gonna work out my chest, and hopefully that'll make it fluff out more. I'll do massages to stimulate the muscle again. I'm gonna look up all of these different things. So I'll make sure I do an update on, things I've learned to fluff the boobs back up. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know this is very particular to the women who are considering a breast explant. If you haven't followed me yet, if you don't know my content, I am a faith, fashion, and lifestyle content creator. So if you're here to build your confidence through your style or fashion, if you're here to deepen your faith, if you're looking to build your confidence, have personal growth, build your connection with God, then I am your girl. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. I cannot wait to see you on the next episode. Mwah. Bye.